Every moment is allowed to be exactly as it is. Our consciousness is creating experience. Experience doesn't come from the outside world. That's just stimulus. That's just activators touching in on our neurophysiological applications of consciousness in particular ways. We're allowed to have the exact experience that we're having. We don't need to force things. We don't need to change things. We don't need to control things. We don't need to manipulate things. We don't need to judge things. We don't need to put things in boxes. And love is the energy that creates the space for us to do this. Fear will try to change things. Fear will try to control things. Fear will try to put things in boxes, limit, reduce. But we don't need to give in to the fear. We don't ever need to give in to the fear. We are allowed to be here, standing in a grounded vibration of love. And love creates space for authentic being. Love embraces all that is without conditions. Love transforms fear into a pure vibration of hope and love and just a space of being. Love transmutes all darkness into light. Love transmutes shadow into illumination. And anything that is based in fear is really just an invitation to plant energetic seeds of love. And we're allowed to love every part of ourselves home to the power of the present moment. We're allowed to let go of the way that we think things are supposed to be, or how things should feel, or what things should look like, and just create space for authentic being. We're allowed to embrace ourselves unconditionally and allow for who we are to be enough no matter what. It's not, we'll be enough when we get here. It's not, we'll be enough when we get here, achieve this, do this, experience that, change that. It's, I'm here and I'm enough. And those things simultaneously exist. We don't need to pretend we're somewhere different than we are. We don't need to wish for something different than where we are. And we're allowed to embrace the enoughness that already exists right here, right now, within the miracle of our being. We are allowed to step into the wholeness that we innately are. We are allowed to celebrate ourselves just as we are, for all that we are. We are allowed to let go of the judgments and the sensations of needing to control or change or limit or reduce things. You know, when we're trying to put things into boxes, when we're trying to make things, different than they are, when we're refusing to be unconditionally present, that's just a space of fear, and it doesn't serve us. It does not benefit our being to be in a space of fear. It just doesn't do us any good. It just doesn't do us any good. We are allowed to step into love. We are allowed to be the light. We are allowed to embrace ourselves unconditionally. We are allowed to celebrate the beauty. Okay? We're allowed to celebrate the beauty, because beauty is like a whole other, it's just like its own magical, miraculous topic. Like, beauty isn't just like, oh, that's beautiful based on the way the mind perceptually perceives things through the eyes. Beauty is an energy, and it exists all around us and all within us. Beauty is held in the authenticity. Beauty has no judgments. Beauty has no definitions. Beauty has no boundaries. Beauty has no borders. Beauty has no limitations. And there is beauty in every crevice of our consciousness. There is beauty in every crack of our being. And so even the things that we might not necessarily like, even the things we might not necessarily enjoy, even the things that might pose challenges, even the things that seem like they should be something different, even these things hold beauty. And what we focus on grows. Where intention goes, energy flows. And so if we could just pause and let go of the judgments and just kind of breathe deeply into the space of being, we would see that we are already divine. We are already beautiful. We are already enough. And the things that we once judged about ourselves, we can just unconditionally create space for. The things that we once feared about ourselves, we could love. The things that we once criticized about ourselves, we can celebrate. And love conquers all. Love is a pure vibration. Love is unconditional acceptance, unconditional presence, unconditional peace, unconditional kindness, unconditional grace, unconditional courage, relentless tenderness. Love is the creation of authentic being, space for being. And we do not need to limit or reduce ourselves. We do not need to give into the fear. We do not need to agree with the judgments. We do not need to follow the unconscious programs of fear. We are allowed to embrace the wholeness that we innately are, because right here, right now, as we are experiencing life, is beautiful. And we do not need to judge it based on what we think things should be, ideally. We do not need to impose our standards or definitions or perceptual, preferences on what is. We're allowed to just breathe deeply and be present with things as they are. Things don't need to change for it to be okay, and we don't need to change to be enough. We are already beautiful as we are. We are already sacred ground. We are already holy space. We are already enough. And we are allowed to embrace our enoughness and let go of the judgments and the need to change things. Maybe it's okay to not understand. Maybe it's okay to let things go. Maybe it's okay to just be fully present with things as they naturally are. Maybe we're not meant to understand. Maybe we're not meant to control. Maybe we're not meant to, XYZ. Maybe we're super allowed to just be here experiencing life as we are, and that can be enough.